He's like, yeah, man, P came in here and beat up on my body.
I done come from that. Now I'm trying to go an opposite way. I don't want to be walking around cracking people in the head and drive-by on people. That ain't me.
Pimp C has always been his own man. When he make up his mind to do whatever it is he want to do, that's what he gonna do.
Every corner of the South got its legends. The ones who built empires, broke barriers, and turned street hustle into history. Some became icons, some became myths, and a few, their stories turned into all-out wars. But none of them hit quite like the clash between Master P and Pimp C. This wasn't just rap beef. This was a collision of two powerful visions. Two kings fighting to control the same kingdom. IT started with respect, then turned into rivalry.
Once I found out Mama was cool with what was going on, and I felt like if Pimp was alive, would he speak on it?
Yeah.
I absolutely believe he would.
Fast. You had Master P, the mogul with a soldier's mindset, running no limit like a military unit. And on the other side, Pimp C, the heart of UGK, raw, outspoken, and fearless when it came to calling things how he saw them. When someone asked, would Pimp have spoken on it if he was still here? The answer came quick. Absolutely. Because that's who Pimp was, unfiltered.
My two friends, I definitely felt I needed to step in. Master P wanted to be respected, and Pimp C wanted to be respected. To get both parties on one accord where the subject of respect, that was the solution.
Filtered, passionate, and always ready to defend his truth, no matter who stood across from him. This wasn't just about music or fame. It was about dominance, pride, and the kind of Southern power struggle that shaped hip-hop forever. Two visionaries, two worlds colliding. And when they met, it wasn't conversation, it was a storm. Hotel rooms turned into straight-up war zones. Not luxury, not relaxation, just tension thick enough to choke on. Behind the scenes, phones in Houston were blowing up. Calls were being made, favors being cashed in. And it wasn't about business. It was about payback. The kind of calls that make people disappear. The beef had gone way past music now. This was real street energy bleeding into the industry. And the stakes couldn't have been higher. Every word, every move, every rumor had weight. And when things started spiraling towards something deadly, one of rap's most feared CEOs had to step in. Fast, he wasn't doing for clout or headlines. He was doing it because he knew if he didn't, somebody wasn't making it out alive. This wasn't just rap anymore. It was pride, power, and pure survival. The kind of clash that left scars nobody could see, but everybody could feel. The South has always had its own legends, its own untold stories. The kind that never made the front page but lived through mixtapes, whispers backstage, and word of mouth from those who swore they were there when it all went down. One of those stories is right between Texas and Louisiana. Two worlds apart, yet fueled by the same hunger for respect and recognition. A.T. the center of it all were two titans. Pimp C, the fiery soul of UGK, and Master P, the mastermind behind No Limit Records. I name my company No Limit because there's no limit to my success, P once said. And I name myself Master P because I'm going to master whatever I do. That wasn't just a quote, it was his mission statement. His label ran like a street army, disciplined, hungry, and built from the ground up. What started as a promising collaboration between two Southern powerhouses would soon explode into one of the most infamous feuds in rap history. And like most wars, it all came down to two things, money and respect. By the mid-90s, Pimp C wasn't just rapping. He was producing, mixing, and redefining Southern sound. Every track he touched carried that Texas soul, church organs, syrupy bass lines, and that UGK balance that made every block from Houston to Atlanta shake. He was outspoken, multi-talented, and impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, Master P was in full empire mode, flipping Richmond hustle into a New Orleans dynasty. He wasn't just selling music. He was selling a movement. And when their paths crossed, it felt like destiny. The big moment came in 1996 with Break 'Em Off Something off P's Ice Cream Man album. The track hit hard. It was raw, loud, and unapologetically Southern. It gave No Limit that Texas stamp. And for UGK, it cracked open doors across the region. But behind that success came tension. Quiet at first, then boiling. Questions started flying. Who got paid what? Who really made the record pop? For Pimp, it wasn't about the check. It was about credit. He built the beat, the hook, the energy. And when numbers didn't match his contribution, he took it as disrespect. But the real breaking point didn't happen in the studio. It happened over phone. And it didn't even start with Pimp. It started with his mother, Wesley Monroe, better known as Mama Wes. Anyone who knew UGK knew Mama. Wes ran things. She was business, backbone, and protection all in one. One day, Master P called her, asking Pimp to come down to Baton Rouge for a session. But Pimp was already booked for another gig, one paying the same $10,000 P offered. Mama Wes stood firm. Business was business. That's when things got heated. Allegedly, P didn't take no too well. He fired back, saying his record would run the streets while the indie one would fade into nothing. That turned a simple scheduling issue into a power struggle. Mama Wes wasn't backing down, and the call ended with words that cut deep. When Pimp overheard that exchange, something inside him snapped. You don't talk slick about his mother. Not in Texas. Not anywhere. Even when P called back later, trying to make peace, it was too late. They still did the track, and it hit big, but the respect? Gone forever. From that day forward, Pimp C made it known. On stage, in interviews in every city, he called out, saying Master P disrespected his mom. Whether it happened exactly that way or not didn't matter anymore. Pimp believed it, and the South followed his lead. Crowds started chanting against No Limit. The tension was wildfire, spreading from Houston to Baton Rouge. What looked like venting was really a declaration, a public line drawn in the sand. And in the world of Southern rap, where respect meant survival, that was a dangerous move. For Master P, being called out publicly wasn't something he could let slide. His entire identity was built on dominance, independence, and self-made power. He wasn't some label puppet. He was the blueprint. Before the fame, P was in Richmond, California, selling CDs straight from his trunk. I built No Limit with $10,000, he said. I went hood to hood, selling out the trunk, posting my own flyers. Every sale was proof of his grind. By the time he moved back to New Orleans, he wasn't just a rapper. He was a businessman rewriting the rules. He built No Limit into a machine. Silk the Shocker, C-Murder, Mia X, Mystical Fiend. Even Snoop Dogg later on, all part of a non-stop production line that turned every week into a new release. We was doing shows Thursday through Sunday for $500 a night. One of his artists said, it wasn't much, but it never stopped. P had the formula: ownership, consistency, and relentless hustle. With Priority Records backing him, his empire stretched nationwide. Meanwhile, 300 miles west in Port Arthur, Texas, UGK was cooking something different. It wasn't New York polish or LA glamour. It was raw Southern grit. Pimp C and Bun B didn't just rap about the South, they were the South. Pimp built what he called country rap tunes, a sound dripping with blues, gospel organs, and trunk-rattling 808s. It was Texas through and through. Bun B brought the balance. Deep, grounded, commanding. Pimp brought the chaos. Fiery, soulful, unfiltered. Together, they didn't need a cosign. They were the movement. And that's where the crossroads formed. Two Southern giants, two unstoppable visions, No Limit and UGK, colliding not just over music, but over respect, reputation, and control. It was a storm waiting to explode. Hotel rooms turned into war zones. Paranoia creeping through every hallway. Phones buzzing in Houston with whispers of revenge. And behind it all, one name kept echoing: Pimp C. The pressure was eating him alive. Every subliminal, every rumor, every mention of his name in Southern rap beefs added more fuel to the fire. It got so bad that one man allegedly came to Jay Prince himself, asking for permission to take Pimp C off the map. But Jay Prince wasn't having it. No, he said, we got money on the line. That's my guy. They shut it down fast. Still, the damage was done. Even with the threats circling, Pimp stayed focused, making music, keeping UGK's name alive. But behind the beats and bravado, his personal life was slipping fast. Then came the breaking point. 2002, Pimp was sentenced to 8 years for aggravated assault after an incident involving a gun. It was the kind of chaos that had followed him for years, but this time it caught up when the judge read that sentence. It hit like a gut punch, not just to him, but to the entire South. Because this wasn't some random rapper going down. This was a voice of the South, the man who made country rap tunes legendary. Almost instantly, Bun B turned heartbreak into movement. The Free Pimp C campaign took over the streets, mixtapes, t-shirts, stage shout-outs, all echoing one message. From Houston to New York, everyone wanted their man home. But behind those prison walls, that love couldn't protect him. Pimp refused protective custody. He wouldn't hide from anyone. He stayed in general population, moving through Texas units, holding his head high the whole way. Proud, stubborn, unbroken. Inside, Pimp C became a legend in real time. To inmates, he wasn't just a rapper. He was proof that someone from their world could make it big and still stay real. But those walls didn't calm his mind. They sharpened his paranoia. After his release, he opened up about being targeted by guards and inmates who either hated his fame or wanted something from it. He kept writing rhymes, mentoring young artists, trying to stay creative. But deep down, the same ghost followed him. The betrayal, the rumors, the unfinished business with Master P. Prison changed him. He later admitted it broke him down mentally and financially. Even with real ones like Bun B and Jay-Z looking out, the money dried up fast. The paranoia stayed. The anger deepened. But somewhere in all that darkness, Pimp found clarity. When he finally walked out in December 2005, free after 3 long years, he carried those scars like lessons. And one of the first things he did, he tried to make peace. In later interviews, Master P recalled that moment. Pimp C walked up to him, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "Big dog, I apologize. That was my bad. I was on drugs. No ego, no games. Just a man finally facing his past." It was raw honesty, almost heartbreaking when you think about how far they'd fallen. Even Mama Wes, Pimp's mother and backbone, later confirmed that P was one of the first to call her son when he came home. They talked it out. The hate was gone. They even discussed working together again, bringing everything full circle, but peace is fragile. And for Pimp, the shadows never really left. The paranoia, the memories, the years of mistrust. It all lingered. He tried hard to rebuild, to move forward, to turn pain into purpose. But fate had other plans. Just 2 years later, on December 4th, 2007, Pimp C was gone. A legend lost too soon. Mama was passed away a few years later, and out of pure respect, Master P has rarely spoken on that chapter since. "They're not here to tell their truth," he said, "so I'll let it rest." The story of Pimp C and Master P isn't just a rap feud. It's a story about pride, pain, and power. 2 Southern kings who went from brothers to enemies, and somehow back to peace again. It's a reminder that behind every legend is a man fighting demons the world never sees. So tell me, do you think that peace was real or just temporary? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to Drip Z for more wild hip-hop stories and untold drama straight from the culture.